Hi, everybody. Welcome to video 3. Let's begin our dialogue with our Generation Z daughter, Estela Mejia, graduate student and ready to enter to the doctorate program. Welcome, Estelita.
Hello.
I would like to have another perspective and understand the frustration that lead teenagers or young adults into addictions to social media, video games, or practice self-harm like cutting. To begin with, let me share one anecdote. One day, I found this notebook in the garbage can at the school. I was curious who was the owner to return it, but there was no name, empty pages, blank, and I saw the student throw it into the garbage can, so I wanted to return to her, but it was no name, so I preferred to not to do it. I keep the notebook, and then I realized that it was only one page written, and it was titled Desires. I'm going to mention a few of the desires: cell phone, Mac phone, AirPods, $500, redo room, lose 20 pounds, do my hair brown, new clothes, new shoes, clear skin, white teeth, new makeup, LED lights, Fitbit, necklaces, earrings, rings. And the last one, non-strict parents. Stella, do you think strict parents lead other kids into frustration and from that frustration to any addiction?
Yes, I think it does, especially the way that she said it, like having strict parents in the list of desires. In one of the videos that you had sent me, it was talking about how addiction isn't what we think it is. Addiction is a lack of connections that draws you to find something else for you to hold that connection with. And so in strict parents, one of the fundamental, I guess, values that a child needs when they're growing up is to feel seen and validated. So if they don't feel any of that, and typically in my own experience and from what I know from like my peers, when you have strict parents, at times you're lying to them or you're not telling them the full truth because they're strict. So some of the things that you want to do, they won't let you, or they'll put like really harsher conditions on you to avoid you from doing things that you want to do. So you start not sharing everything and hiding things. So not only do you feel like you can't go to this parent to be seen and heard, you're also starting to pull away. So there's like a huge lack of connection there, growing from that frustration, which makes it a lot easier for kids who maybe don't have the best relationship with strict parents to seek out something else to fill that attachment.
Really good point. Let me share with the audience what was the video that we were talking about. It's the video about everything you think you know about addiction is wrong by Johann Hari. At the end, he concludes the opposite of addiction is connection. So, what do you agree with that sentence? The opposite of addiction is connection.
I really liked it. I think it's a different way of a completely different way of looking at addiction, and I think it's probably a more accurate version of it. Since typically, when somebody gets addicted to something, and he discusses this in the video, they're seeking something out from it, and he uses that science experiments that he referenced that within rats, when you put them in a condition where they're in a really like dull living environment, there's nothing really happening, not much going on, they choose to take the drugs as like that placeholder, that connection to something. Whereas when they're in a thriving environment with friends, food, so many things to do, they choose not to take it because they don't really need to. They have connections in different areas.
So, but what about the social media connection that the kids are into it? For example, one day, one student told me when I told her, could you please put away your cell phone? And she told me, I'm sorry, but I have FOMO. Have to look at it, the definition. FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. But still, I'm not clear if I understand correctly. What does it mean, FOMO?
So it literally spells out to fear of missing out. It's when you, I guess the best way of explaining it is you're jealous of not being there in whatever it is you're seeing, whether your friends are out doing something or you see, celebrities or people that you don't actually know, seeing all their accomplishments or successes. I guess it can be a external thing, but also an internal thing. Like you're the fear of missing out on the fun times, the laughs, the inside jokes, like furthering those connections with those people. And internally, maybe you feel like feelings of jealousy, insecurity, that because you're not with them, they might become better friends than them, and like it can spiral into a lot of darker emotions within somebody.
So, in other words, it's very easy to get addicted to social media or video games.
I wouldn't say it's very easy to. It depends on the person because you have people who have social media and they don't feel that at all, whereas other people they have social media and they it's really bad for them. I feel like it depends on the person and if they're perhaps lacking in connections in different areas of their lives, or perhaps social media might poke at an insecurity that they might have. So I think for that, it really varies per person.
But I was looking at the desires of these students that, of course, for probably for the items that she mentioned, it's a she, if I'm not wrong. But this is what I think the we are looking at the media, the social media, especially Instagram, for example, as luxury or earrings, rings, necklace, beauty, shoes, everything that she mentioned here, white teeth, new makeup, is everything that we see on social media. So it's influencing our way of thinking one way or another. This is what I think that from the perspective of this faith or this list. What do you think? It is
I'm
a
sorry, could you?
pressure in the social media with those particular things that you want to be or you want to have.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Is the social media is giving you or your classmates, your friends, there's the pressure to have those items, those luxury that you see on those social media.
I think subconsciously it is putting that pressure since if you're building your feed on things that are consistently that, like Instagram models or influencers wearing like full face of makeup with like necklaces, jewelry, like galore, all the like Apple products that you see maybe on wherever social media platform you might have of them, your subconscious mind starts to condition itself to seeing that over and over and over again, especially with how easy it is to just scroll through social media and find so much content of that. So it starts in your subconscious mind always seeing that, so it starts to, like, I guess, build the standard for that.
Mhm.
And if you see your closer peers around you having what you desire, then it supplements to that of, okay, it's not just within like my area, but it's also on a bigger scale, like this is a standard.
I got it. But it's dangerous.
Like I mentioned with the previous question that you asked, if it's easy to get addicted to it, it can be dangerous, but not everybody will fall into that. Some people might be more susceptible than others, given other factors that might be going on, whether within themselves or, I mean, realistically within themselves. That's where it would come from.
And another topic that I would like to talk briefly is about the self-harm or cutting. It is hard for me to understand that people cut themselves sometimes just to feel better. They don't feel the pain. They just feel better. What do you know about cutting?
So I've actually met several people who have confided in me that they have cut before. Um, each person's, I guess, experience with it is going to be different, and from what I know, it is different. Uh, but typically, at least from my experience, is that it's been in like middle school and high schoolers. Since the way I see it, and that I've learned to understand what self harm is it's a way to escape whatever pain they're going through. It's a simpler, easier way that anybody can do essentially. Whereas drinking or doing drugs or doing other sorts of self coping, like coping mechanisms or self soothing, those might require money or you being able to go somewhere and get something. Whereas self harm, it's something you can do anywhere essentially if you have a tool.
So you will see it more in high school students than in college students cutting.
Middle school and high school.
Yes. Wow. Okay. We can talk for hours about this topic. It's really eye opener, especially for parents. We are so blind, and this new generation C and the other letters are hard to understand. So help us understand the frustration your generation has with our generation on older generations.
I don't think we're hard to understand, to be completely honest. I think this generation and the ones that are following mine are very honest with the things that we might be feeling or going through or processing. I feel like more and more people are sharing their stories of everything on the spectrum, whether it be their sexuality, um, career path, or how they're feeling. Just in general, I feel like my generation and the ones after me are becoming more vocal about this. I think our frustration with the older generations is that we aren't being heard or understood. And there's a difference between communicating and somebody actually comprehending that. I think that's where the disconnect happens sometimes because my generation and the ones underneath mine, I've noticed that they're very outspoken. They no longer seem to want to hold their tongue to things anymore and just kind of let things go. And so we're trying to communicate. This might just be from my perspective, but perhaps the older generations aren't comprehending what we're saying to then be able to really process it. That's why I
And
feel like the disconnect is
as a mother or a Generation C daughter, sometimes I feel that honest comment hurts me. And I know we have to try to understand each other, respect each other, and the most important thing, listen. And I think when we started listening, I started listening my daughter, and I started growing myself from what I learned. I'm learning with her what she's learning. So I'm so proud of her, and I wish her all the best to my future doctor, Stella Mejia.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you here for us, and
Thank you
I
for
guess
having
I
me.
will enjoy you too.